Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today, I bring you a story that has left the Turkish entertainment world speechless, a story of passion, courage, and the consequences of following one's heart. It's about Cenk Torun and Mahassine Marabet, two names that have recently become inseparable in headlines and whispers alike. All the details are in this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, and click the join button below to support the channel. Now, let's dive into this extraordinary story. In the glamorous yet unpredictable world of Turkish entertainment, love stories often begin quietly, a glance on set, a shared conversation, a moment of connection that grows into something larger than life. But the story of Cenk Torun and Mahassine Marabet is not an ordinary one. It's a story that has challenged conventions, tested personal boundaries, and shown how even the most composed public figures can find themselves at the mercy of their emotions. For years, Cenk Torun was seen as a man who had it all: success, charisma, a solid reputation, and a seemingly happy marriage. He was admired not just for his talent, but also for his stability and discretion. Fans considered him one of the few who had managed to balance fame and personal life without scandal. But behind the calm exterior, something was quietly changing. And that change had a name: Mahassine Marabet. Mahassine, a rising figure in the entertainment scene, had been making waves for her elegance, intelligence, and unmistakable screen presence. Her performances carried emotional intensity, the kind that reveals not just skill, but a soul full of passion. According to people close to the two, their paths first crossed at a cultural event held in Istanbul last year. Cenk had been invited as a guest speaker. Mahassine was there to receive recognition for her growing career. That evening, among speeches, applause, and flashing cameras, a simple exchange between them marked the beginning of something neither could have predicted. Witnesses described their interaction as instant chemistry. It wasn't loud or dramatic, just two people who seemed to recognize something familiar in one another. They looked like they'd known each other for years, one attendee recalled. From that night on, their connection deepened, first through messages, then long conversations about art, cinema, and life. What began as mutual admiration slowly evolved into something much more intimate and profound. At first, both tried to suppress what they felt. Cenk, aware of his responsibilities and the scrutiny surrounding his name, tried to convince himself that it was nothing more than a fleeting admiration. Mahassine, on her part, respected the boundaries of the situation. But emotions rarely follow logic. Over time, their connection became undeniable. She understood him in a way few people ever had, said a source close to the actor. He felt seen, heard, and inspired again. Those who worked with Cenk during that period noticed a change. He seemed more thoughtful, quieter, as if living in constant reflection. Meanwhile, Mahassine's social media presence also shifted: fewer public appearances, more cryptic captions about choices, freedom, and destiny. It didn't take long for the press to sense that something was happening. And when photos of the two attending a private art exhibition together surfaced online, the rumor mill exploded. For weeks, entertainment outlets speculated about the nature of their relationship. Were they collaborators on a project? Old friends? Or something deeper? Cenk Torun remained silent. He neither confirmed nor denied the claims, though his silence was interpreted by many as a quiet acknowledgement. Behind closed doors, however, he was facing one of the most difficult decisions of his life. According to insiders, Cenk's marriage had already been struggling for some time, not because of Mahassine, but because of years of emotional distance and professional stress. Still, the idea of ending it was painful. And yet, as one of his close friends later confided, he realized that denying his feelings was costing him his peace. After months of contemplation, Cenk made the decision that would change everything. He filed for divorce. The announcement shocked everyone. There had been no public conflict, no visible tension, just a sudden, quiet end to a long chapter. Fans reacted with disbelief. Some expressed sadness, others curiosity, and of course, there were those who immediately linked the separation to Mahassine Marabet. Neither Cenk nor Mahassine commented publicly at the time, but their silence spoke volumes. Paparazzi spotted them in separate locations in the following weeks, avoiding public appearances together. Still, those close to them said the bond between them had not weakened. It had, in fact, grown stronger in the face of adversity. The story took on a life of its own. Tabloids ran dramatic headlines like "Love or Betrayal" and "The Passion That Ended a Marriage." Others took a softer approach, framing it as a man's search for truth. Through it all, both Cenk and Mahassine maintained a dignified silence. Months passed, and Cenk began to appear publicly again. In an interview promoting a new television project, he was inevitably asked about his personal life. He responded calmly, "Life sometimes leads us where we never expected to go. All I can say is that I'm at peace with my choices. Every decision I've made came from honesty, not harm." The statement was brief but meaningful. It wasn't an admission, nor was it a denial. But for those who had followed the story closely, it was enough. Shortly after that, Mahassine appeared at a charity gala. When a reporter asked whether she had any comment about the ongoing rumors, she smiled faintly and said, "Love is not about who we lose or gain, it's about what we learn from each encounter. I think that's all that matters." Her words added another layer of depth to the unfolding story. Public reaction was divided. Some praised Cenk for his courage to follow his heart. Others criticized him harshly, accusing him of abandoning a long marriage for passion. Yet, even his critics admitted that there was something sincere about the way he handled the situation. No theatrics, no publicity, no exploitation. Meanwhile, social media turned their story into a symbol of forbidden love. Fan pages flooded timelines with photo edits of Cenk and Mahassine, accompanied by captions like "Love always finds its way" and "Two souls meant to meet." But behind the scenes, those close to Mahassine described her as cautious and deeply reflective. "She never wanted to be the reason for anyone's pain," said one friend. "That's why she stayed quiet, even when she was being judged." For Cenk, the transition was equally difficult. Ending a marriage, facing public scrutiny, and beginning anew under the eyes of millions tested his emotional strength. But he seemed determined to rebuild, piece by piece, on his own terms. Eventually, time softened the controversy. Months after the initial storm, Cenk and Mahassine began to appear in public again, this time together. They attended a private film screening, sitting side by side, smiling but avoiding questions. Their body language spoke for them, comfortable, confident, and at peace. Those who saw them up close described the moment as natural. "It didn't feel like a scandal," said a journalist who attended the event. "It felt like two people who had found each other after a long journey." Still, speculation never fully faded. Some believed their relationship had been destined, others saw it as reckless. Yet one thing was undeniable: their connection was real, and it had changed both of their lives forever. Today, both continue their careers separately but with mutual respect and quiet admiration. Cenk has been focusing on new acting projects, while Mahassine is preparing to direct her first short film, a story about choices, destiny, and the price of honesty. When asked recently if the project was inspired by real events, she smiled softly and said, "Every artist draws from what they've lived. Art is just another way of telling the truth." Her words reignited curiosity. Was this her way of expressing what she couldn't say openly? Perhaps. But maybe, as many believe, this story no longer needs explanations. Because in the end, the tale of Cenk Torun and Mahassine Marabet isn't just about passion or controversy. It's about two people who found the courage to face their truth in a world that demands perfection. And whether one agrees or not with their choices, what remains undeniable is the emotional honesty that has captivated an entire nation. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the join button to support our work. See you in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.